Welcome to the Let It Bleed podcast, a place where you can hear the liquor-fueled ramblings of two narcissistic wizards who conjure the essence of inspirational people every week and bring it straight to you.
Just how do you plan on doing that? Magic. Motherfucker.
And now for the wizards themselves, David Amaya and Phil Arroyo.
2, 1. What's going on?
Okay, I'll have to make a note to myself. Oh man, that clap was bad. We're so not good at this.
What are you
That's okay.
I heard it exactly on time.
You said 4, 3, 2, 1, and then clapped, right? I clapped
Yeah.
on the 1.
Well, I heard it when I clapped, so that just tells you the delay. I don't know. I heard your clap with my clap.
Time fuck me, sir?
I just time fucked you.
You just time fucked me.
Yes, I did.
All these years
Absolutely.
I've been doing this.
I've used
fuck
my
around with
extensive
sleeping for
knowledge
just a
from
second.
all the time travel scenarios and all the time travel films that I've seen, and just
And you
time
time
fucked
fucked me, you goddamn time fucker.
you. That's a cool name for something. Time fucker. Anyways,
I
we're
like
off
that
to
as
a
like
really
a
shitty
comic or something like that. Like time fuckers.
Yeah,
Could be
something like
Yeah, just really like out there. You know, I'm thinking like been watching a lot of Adult Swim lately, so I'm thinking Adult Swimmy. You know, just terrible kind of animation, very raunchy, over the top. You know, time fuckers like a bunch of like BDSM people like travel through time and like I don't know, beat up Hitler and shit like that.
I kind of feel like I want to start this over, just a little bit.
Well, too late for that. We already got time fuckers going on.
Well, fuck. Okay. Well, let's see. Cause yeah.
No, what's
I
up,
don't
man?
know.
Let's start fresh. What's up?
Yeah, Eddie. Oh wait, you're starting fresh, right? I'm sorry. give it like
You
a
have
little
got to keep
second.
up. You know what, sir?
Yes.
You just got
What?
time fucked. Boom.
I just.
Boom.
Oh god, this is fucking embarrassing. Because
The time
was
fucker has
actually,
become the time fucked, my friend.
Eddie
yes.
was actually talking to me,
And
telling
now
me
we
about
can't
what-
edit any of this shit.
Oh no.
Good job. Good job.
Eddie was.
Time fucked.
What do you mean we can't edit any of this shit?
Because now we're talking so much about this dumb shit that happened when we made a mistake. We kind of got to leave it in. So, all right. Let's keep on rolling
right.
then. Let's start the show.
Okay.
Welcome to the Now it's your host, David Amaya and Phil Arroyo. Okay, boom. What's going on, man?
Perfect.
How's your week been?
My week was pretty fucking awesome. Dude, I've got a couple things to say about a couple of films I saw. I saw 3 separate movies, but we could get into that in a little bit after whatever.
Well, it's
but I just
Oscar
was
season.
like, is it?
Yeah. They just announced the
I-
Oscar nominees yesterday. Another round of
And
a lot of white faces. That's the main takeaway from that. No, I haven't seen a bunch of these. Like the Joker got like the most Oscar nods, and I have not seen it, so I can't comment too extensively on that. But I was surprised.
really?
I didn't think it was that level or caliber of movie just by the way people have talked about it and things like that.
Oh, really? What have you heard? I've heard nothing but amazing things, minus a couple harsh reviews from people that were just, I guess, perceiving it in a much different way than the way that everybody else happened to be seeing it. So I've heard a lot of great things about it, actually.
Oh yeah, no, I've
So what
heard a
have
lot
you
of really
heard?
good things about it. I just did not expect it to be, like an Oscar movie. It seemed like more of like a summary poppy movie, like not like one that typically gets put up for Oscar consideration. You know what I mean? That was the part that threw me
Oh.
off more than anything else. I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's good or bad. I
Okay,
heard
'cause,
every different opinion from all sorts of people who I respect and don't respect. And
Yeah.
so I do not know what to make of it. So I would be going into that movie with zero expectations because I do want to see it still. But
Yeah,
that
I mean,
walked
I'm
away with the
waiting to see it.
most.
Interesting. I kind of thought it was going to be like that because people were saying that it was kind of like a modern day Taxi Driver, which I could see as being on the more serious side of things. Definitely
Second
not like
runner-up
this-
for most nominations was The Irishman. So yeah,
There you go.
I guess you're kind of spot on there with that analysis.
So that was the second. Okay, and then anything else?
Oh, that was the only two that I remember off the top of my head. I do have all of the nominations written out here, because I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about this or not, or if anybody would give a shit, or if I can make this interesting. But yeah, no. The point is that I have not seen most of the movies here, but like
Okay, what is Midsummer on there for anything?
well, let's
Or
go.
Midsummer?
Oh, I feel like
you
I
wanna
saw
read-
that somewhere. But
You
let's
should
let's
read the
go
whole
with Best
list.
Picture. Okay, let's go with Best Picture.
Okay.
So you get an idea of all the recurring stories here.
Okay.
1917, Ford versus
Okay.
Ferrari, Joker, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Parasite,
Uh-huh.
The Irishman, Little Women, Jojo Rabbit, and Marriage Story.
Huh.
I have seen, I think, half of those, almost.
I'd say about half of those for myself. Yeah, they're. I mean, yeah, The Irishman was good. I would say it was really good. But I don't know. I don't know. I guess maybe it was just a year that wasn't so hot. I'm surprised 1917's already in there.
I think
Because
so. I think sometimes I wonder if it's like oh, we're because I mean the whole process of the Oscars is inherently political. It's not really like a excuse me. Oh, that was cute. It's not really like a a meritocracy over there. I mean, it's a whole campaign. They take out ads, they do all this stuff, and then it's just people voting, people who are in the in the academy, and
Right.
nothing. There's no real like guidelines over why they should vote for what they did. I mean, fucking people vote for stuff because they think it should win, or because they like this person, or maybe they worked with this person, or something like that. I mean,
Right,
fucking,
sure,
I'm sure
sure.
there's a bunch of underhanded, like, hey, I'll give you this if you vote for me for this, that kind of thing. So it's like all of this stuff is inherently meaningless, and I don't know why. I actually do find it interesting, even the like political part of this, and I think it just puts puts a spotlight on like the movies of the last year. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that like I like having this conversation. I could give less of a fuck about like the actual ceremony. I like getting mad about things, if you couldn't tell. It's like a recurring theme here. And so I choose to care about this enough and to like compartmentalize like if somebody else told me that they gave a lot of a shit about an Oscar, I would just judge the hell out of them. And so I'm just really trying to compartmentalize those two parts about myself so I can continue to have this conversation because for some reason it does bring me joy. But
Sure.
yeah, no, the
Yeah,
Irishman I
more-
think was good. I'm wondering if it was like oh, this looks like it's probably the last time you guys are all gonna do something, so we're just gonna give it to you. But I don't know. It was a good movie. I think it could be up for consideration, but I don't think I would vote for it for anything.
Right, that's kind of what I mean. Even though I
Yeah.
liked it, I thought it was a good movie. I wouldn't say it was like an oh my god sort of movie that like this was just mind blowing and that the performances were out of this world. Like the performances were pretty, up to par with everything that we've already seen from all of these guys before. And it's
Yeah.
not that we don't love it, that we're not entertained by it. It's just that it didn't really wow me, and that's why I was kind of asking about that other movie because I don't really know or pay attention to the Oscars, and I haven't. I kind of am one of those people that just is like, yeah, I shrug my shoulders, like, what does it matter? Like, I don't have the same taste as those people do, clearly based on like
Yeah.
people who won in the past. So it's just,
And
I
it's
guess
so many times those people don't have the taste for the things that they voted for. They just think it, seems important, So
right?
yeah,
Sure.
take it for what it is. But
Sure,
what was
sure.
it? What
And-
was what was the movie you asked? I don't see it actually anywhere on here.
So there was a movie called Midsummer. I think that's like Midsummer.
Yeah.
Midsummer, but it's like spelled like it's read like in the Swedish way. Midsommar. Dude, that movie. I mean, maybe I guess why I guess I know why it wouldn't be in there. It's not a movie for everybody, and it will fuck you up, bro.
What
Like,
what is this
it's-
movie?
it's just I guess it's a horror movie. I guess we could just simply say that it's a horror movie, but it's not a horror movie. It is not like anything.
Hello?
Did you watch Hereditary by chance? Hello, can you hear me?
No, I didn't.
So, okay,
It seemed
They-
a little too rapey on its face for my taste. But
Hereditary.
yeah, Or am I
What do you
thinking of
mean
It
rapey?
Follows? I think I'm thinking of It
Y-
Follows.
Yeah, there's not
All right.
really anything that has to do with rape in this particular movie. So Hereditary was, I guess, I don't want to say the first movie by this director named Ari Aster, but I actually saw them backwards. There was two movies in the last couple years that have come out that people have just been freaked the fuck out by, and the first one was back in 2018. It was called Hereditary, and it is in the same, it's from the same mold of all those other uh, spirit paranormal or rituals and like fucking ghosts and a haunting type horror films, but it exceeds the level of all of those other ones because this one actually scared the fuck out of me, and like legitimately watching it myself, it scared the fuck out of me. And it was well done and fucking just really made me jump and get shivers in my spine and shit. And that wasn't even the gnarliest one though. He came out a year later and followed up with this movie called Midsummer, and I saw that one first on Saturday night, and I was just fucked up, dude. I was like, wow, it was so unique.
Well, I'm
The-
looking
definitely-
at this here. The blurb is a couple traveled to Sweden to visit their friend's rural hometown for its fabled midsummer festival, but what begins as an idyllic retreat quickly devolves into an increasingly violent and bizarre competition at the hands of a pagan cult. Oh, that sounds like my
Yeah.
shit right there.
dude, but like it's not so much that you that bad shit's gonna happen, and that's not even a spoiler. Like if you don't get that
Hold on,
kind
a
of
horror movie where
you know-
bad shit happens?
right, like I'm
Jesus
talking about
Christ, man, why even bother watching it now?
you know that these kids are going to this place, and you know that there's going to be shit that's gone on to them. They're not going to make it out, but you don't know how, and you don't expect like the way that this director just fucks with you, dude. Like, first of all, I've never seen a film that actually really made me feel like I was also on shrooms for part of it. Like not even Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas had me tripping to that extent. Like they did this one scene where they were on shrooms as a group, like shrooming together, and like everything from just the music and just the subtle visuals that the camera tricks that they would play that made you question. And of course, I was stoned out of my mind when I was watching this, so
Okay.
it really enhanced it, and I felt it.
Well,
though.
come for the
I
pagan
felt it.
cult and stay for the like mushroom trip hyper realism.
Well, yeah, that's like the start of it where it kind of gets you, it gets you feeling shit. It really makes you, that's like a warm up part to it that gets your blood going, I guess. But then it just starts to fuck you up with some of the weirdest shit, and it seems very real, and it makes you question things because you're like, well, I mean, I don't really even know how to continue without fucking it up or spoiling it for anybody as well as yourself. I want you to see it. I want
Yeah,
you
don't
to tell
time
me what
fuck
you
us.
think. I will just say that it's I will not time fuck you, I promise. We already time fucked off for like 5 minutes in the beginning of this episode. So yeah. It's the brightest scary movie that you will ever see in your life. Like there is no
Okay.
darkness because it literally is during the summer solstice.
Goddamn,
So
that
it's-
is a really interesting like point there.
Yeah.
Oh
And you
man,
can't-
That's a fun
that's the
challenge.
thing
Like,
is you-
can you make a good horror movie like with no darkness, with everything has to be
Yes.
well lit?
Yeah, basically,
consider
and
me titillated, sir.
it's like you can't escape it, even if you wanted to. You have to watch it. Shut up,
Oh
Alexa.
shit! Okay, you
Yeah.
just sold the fuck out of it for me. Okay, I
Yeah,
am
so check it out.
super.
Check it
down.
out, and give it go into it. Actually, just no expectations. Fuck with everything I just said. Tell me what you think.
on mushrooms.
check-
right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
got
that
it.
too. And then after, complaining about both of these movies and how I wasn't going to be able to sleep for 2 nights in a row, Jeffrey, who everybody knows from our shows, he's been on 3 of our podcast episodes, recommended to me The Lighthouse, which I had been wanting to see.
Oh,
That's
is
the
that
one
that
with-
that Willem Dafoe and
Yes.
Robert Pattinson?
Yes, I saw that. And that one is not as scary per se. It is not as horrifying and
Oh.
keeping you on the edge of your seat.
It was supposed
but
to be a scary movie.
it is a psychological thriller. So
Okay.
there are parts to it that are creepy as fuck. Don't get me wrong. There are parts to it that
I
really,
mean,
because that.
being stuck
Go
in a
ahead,
lighthouse with Willem Dafoe sounds creepy as fuck no matter what you do. They could have just
dude.
been
He
fucking
did.
staring at each other's eyes for a couple hours. That would have been weird.
Yeah, it did definitely get weird at parts because I mean the pacing of the movie or the way the story would unfold, it was like you were just kind of like really like what's going on for real here because I don't know you it just really goes from one thing to the other in the way that they are acting, and it's done in a way cinematically that I haven't seen uh probably ever. Maybe there's been one other movie that's been black and white like this throughout the whole movie and then had some sequences that are just really a little bit more artistic than your average film. That was Pi. Have you ever seen Pi? It
Uh,
was a movie about this like math genius guy that was like actually tortured by his talents and everybody was trying to come and get at him for his fucking knowledge. Anyways, that's a pretty good indie film that's shot in all black and white, but this one is also that way, and I think that there are definitely some shots that style of shooting served really well, but a lot of it's just kind of a little bit too dark. So I can
mm.
imagine, it's like I don't know, wear your glasses because it could be like super dark and I don't know. William Defoe did a fucking amazing job. Like he really nailed that, that early century freaking
Oh, yeah, he seems like a man out of time.
like
And seeing
the
like
beard.
seeing clips, yeah, that beard. Oh, it looked pretty marvelous.
There was one scene, and I'm not going to say what happens, but they just the lighting they get on his face in the black and white is just phenomenal, and it looks like it could be like a really iconic poster for horror films from like back in the day. Like he looked like the Wolfman sort of thing, but his eyes were super intense. And then there's another scene similar in the way that it kind of creeps you the fuck out with William Defoe or with the Robert Pattinson's face as he's looking into the light. But it's definitely a metaphorical movie. You don't really know exactly what the actual story was like what the main thing was supposed to be. It's kind of definitely open to interpretation, which can go into a lot of directions. I even read up on it, and it's really like they all say the same thing. Yeah, it could mean this or it could mean that, but it was a good movie. I would be surprised if that didn't have some things at least nominated for. I was surprised that for Best Actor, Willem Dafoe's not on there for that.
Yeah, it does not appear that it got any kind of nod.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm
Interesting.
looking through here. Yeah, actor. I only wrote down actor, actress, supporting actor, supporting actress. But yeah, no, none of them got the nod for that one.
Wow. Well,
And it wasn't
I mean,
too early for the cutoff. 'Cause I think 1917 was more recent.
yeah,
And that was like
1917. Yeah, I felt like 1917 just came out. Like, I
I think
didn't even know
sometimes
it
they
came
can
out before the new
submit
year.
like a little bit before or something like that. I know there's a period where
I bet it's because they
where they
didn't
do.
want
I
it to like.
really, yeah, I don't know enough about this. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But yeah, I think there's like like probably like they might have been able to like submit it early or something like that, like before it
So
went
that's
out.
it's kind of like another Birdman thing, though, right? Where like it's just one continuous shot supposedly throughout the whole film, but it's in a warlike setting
Oh, it
instead
is?
of in a play.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it's supposed. It's yeah,
Oh,
1917.
because
That's
fucking me and Brie are looking at the trailer for that movie, and she's
yeah.
like, "Is this trailer just white guys running at the camera like the whole time?" And
So,
there's just explosions going on left and right, and then every
yes,
scene was that. And
that's
I'm
what
like,
the allure
"Oh
of this
shit,
film is supposed to be.
baby,
It's a
baby, you were
continuous
right.
shot.
The whole movie is them just white kids running and explosions."
Yeah,
Honestly, this
that's
sounds great. I really want to see it now.
yeah,
We were
dude.
joking,
I
but
mean,
I love this.
I'm still confused. My buddy was showing me this a few months back and telling me to look out for this movie, but I was still like, how can they literally do this whole movie in one shot? That's like impossible. There's got to be like something that fucks up in that whole time. Like, and there, people got to eat. They got like they can't. I don't. I guess
No,
that they like.
They do stitch
it's
them
just
together, but like that doesn't like the shots are
So-
always very impressive because it is incredibly difficult to do all that.
so it's just a series of continuous shots stitched together. Then that's what it has
Basically,
to be.
yeah. But like
Okay.
but like even a 11-minute sequence or some shit like that, like that
Sure.
is fucking
totally.
Herculean. That could take a week to get right on its own.
Oh,
Like,
for sure,
if
dude.
you're all really, really good. Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
shit is incredibly hard to do.
For the actors especially to like be able to just have it all together and not fuck up, and also these motherfuckers are running like, damn, dude, I
And-
couldn't even like.
What if the
Yeah.
camera guy trips or some shit like that? Everything starts
Totally.
over. If the
Totally.
effect doesn't go off, everything starts over. Like everybody has to be
Yeah.
on point. Yeah, no, they're a bitch to shoot.
So that's my thinking.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, if I had to do a one take project like this at work, that's only about a minute long, and it's taken us like a month and some
Oh,
change so
nice.
far to get right. Having to
Wow.
constantly reshoot and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and there's going to be stitching. Like it's very, very hard to do. So fucking
Definitely.
hats off to them. That's why Birdman just fucking blew my mind. I love
Yeah.
it so much because there were like so much of that is basically I think it's like a scene change is like the
Yeah.
only time where you're really seeing like the cuts there, but for the most part it is it's a play, it's a really well done
Sure.
play.
Right. And that's my thinking as to why they try to sneak it in there for this year, because they don't want to wait for a whole fucking year to go around and be like, yeah, for it to be kind of stale. They kind of want it like, well, this is right here. Now everybody go watch this movie and check it out. Like it's up for all these awards. And,
Yeah, it's definitely a marketing move. It's always a marketing move for these things. It's like they literally they lay out their budget and they're like, okay, can we try to get an Oscar nod for this? If we do, that's always good for another, X amount millions in revenue. Like they have all these things fucking, on spreadsheets all kind of mapped out, and they figure out things. They kind of work backwards from that. But
Right.
yeah, I'm sure it was something like that, because that is weird timing.
Well, hey, I'm looking
Hey,
forward
more
to seeing
power
that.
to
I got to see the Joker still. I don't want to say anything about that yet, but it's interesting hearing the different reviews. And I'm surprised that Midsummer's not on there, man, because that was a really fucking. I mean, for any movie to make you feel that way, like to
Horror
because
movies usually don't get Oscar
but that's
nods.
but that's what I'm saying, dude. It's like it was really like it wasn't like it's not like an Eli Roth film where even though it's really fucked up and scary, like it's kind of campy and there's like this was
Well, I mean,
very
comedies
realistic.
don't even really get Oscar nods usually most of the time.
True.
Like
I
that's
mean,
kind of a recent thing. Like definitely like big summer blockbusters never get Oscar nods no matter how good they are. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff. Like it's all politics, So I try not to get too
Yeah.
like dodgy about it. But like that,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, no, I'm excited to check that shit out.
please let me know what you guys feel. Do it when you guys are like late at night, smoke some, just get really loaded, get just super high, and just turn off the lights. Maybe light some candles. Do a couple like spells and
Sacrifice
shit. I don't know.
a rabbit and
Sacrifice is the key word, my man. Sacrifice is the key word here. Yes, that's the number one thing you got to do before watching that film.
I was fucking
so-
searching the memory banks for a fucking animal poll, and I read Jojo Rabbit, and I went with rabbit. Which, have you seen that one?
No, but
it's
I am
great.
curious to see it.
It's
Yeah,
great.
I've heard it was really good. And somebody said it was the first comedy with Hitler, and I'm like, that's actually not true.
No,
There
it's
was
not.
some other
Famously,
some
there
other-
are many comedies with Hitler.
yeah, like well
Oh, that was a great line for you to walk back. She just walked back into the room where I was like, no, bullshit. There are tons of comedies with Hitler in it. Oh, man. I almost wish this was some kind of radio show just so I can imagine somebody just tuning in right at that moment. Oh.
You're off the air. Oh my
Quote
gosh.
me. Yes. No, there's a long legacy of fantastic comedies starring Hitler.
Other than like but not in the same way where he's like a main character, right? Like you're talking about the
The
producers.
Great Dictator, the producers,
What's the Great Dictator?
that was the Charlie Chaplin one.
Oh,
That was the
okay.
first
So, yeah,
one. That was made when
I've
Hitler was
never
like
seen that.
still Hitler. It was made in like
Wow.
45. Yeah.
Shit. And it was a
Um,
comedy.
yes, because I think he played Hitler
Okay.
like a buffoon.
Got it. Okay.
I know I had to watch it for a film class, but then I didn't watch it. I watched like a bunch of clips and then I read notes on it just enough to pass the class. So I have some kind of authority here.
Okay.
That's roughly what the movie was about. I could
Okay.
be completely fucking wrong. Don't at me. I don't care. Yeah, but that movie was it was fucking really great, man. Taika Waititi
Okay.
has just exploded these last couple of years, man, and he deserves it.
Who is this?
He was the director of this movie. He also directed like a lot of the Flight of the Conchord stuff. He did the latest Thor movie. He's the robot in The Mandalorian.
Oh, okay. So what's his name?
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi, and
Yeah.
he's the voice of the robot in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like his smallest credit.
More like the Mandaborian.
Oh, got him.
Fuck.
Got him.
God, that fucking everybody's just like running around. I'm like, honestly, you guys are tripping. If you guys aren't all up on Watchmen like this, then you guys are messing up because The Mandalorian, I don't know. Everybody keeps trying to tell me, well, you got to watch the last episode. You got to watch the last episode. It's great. It's like, I shouldn't have to wait to the very last episode to be excited at all about this thing. I gave it a chance for the first
Very
couple
true.
episodes.
Very true.
I gave it a chance. It wasn't even going anywhere. It was just like, oh, so he's got this baby, and they go, and he's really shitty at taking care of the baby, and like there's getting into all these fights and stuff the whole time, but it just seems boring. Nothing about it really made me like, oh man, this is great.
Well, they've always got a baby MacGuffin there with them, so it's like, oh, if the fight ever gets a little bit too crazy, they're like, oh yeah, Baby Yoda space powers, which just fixes everything. Yeah, no, it's worth watching. I think by the end of the season, I'm like, okay, it balanced out to B minus, worth
Okay.
watching, but I'm definitely not excited to fucking come and talk about this because the show's just kind of okay,
Yeah, it easily created the biggest or the most popular like little fad trendy icon, I guess. Like Baby Yoda is probably the most popular thing in pop culture this year for sure.
Yeah, that was also done like by committee, like all this shit, spreadsheets. It's the same shit as the Oscar things. It's all politics, man. They know they're selling fuckloads of Baby Yoda stuffed animals.
What do people like? What do people like?
Nostalgia.
Yoda. What else
big
do
eyes
people
with
like?
This golden ratio. That's exactly this percentage of their head and these specific noises. Like, it's so transparent, but it works.
Or it's like,
it's cute as
what
fuck.
What do people like? Babies. What do people who hate babies like? Yoda. All right, Baby Yoda. We're gonna go ahead and just meet them in the middle somewhere and just fucking have everybody love it. Everybody's gonna go
crazy. Can you
crazy.
get me a job at Disney?
Baby Yoda.
You were in the room. There's no way you can know that.
Oh man, I fucking can't wait to see what they come up with next. Poor BB-8 though. He just like got fucking pushed into the like shadows though, because he's just like he was the cute little thing for like a short while, and then now it's just like.
I mean, they
Baby Yoda
even
just
tried
fucked
to
him up.
replace him in the last movie, and I don't think it really took
really?
hold because I don't remember that other little robot, and nobody else really seems to care.
Right. Like
But
they're all past
I
that shit
enjoyed it.
now.
That was one of the fucking funniest things to me. It was just no, thank you.
Yeah, so I have still yet to see the last Star Wars, the Rise of Is it Rise of Skywalker?
Oh yes, then I totally there's a new character that comes in.
It's cool. You don't. I'm.
You're
I
not
don't know if
missing
I told
much.
you.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like I know it's sacrilege to be pretty much saying this, but I'm kind of over Star Wars, dude. Just
Dude.
yeah. It's just
Like,
it's not doing it for me. We need new
2 or
stories
3
and
of the
new-
movies total were good.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know that a
Go
lot of
back
people
and
think
watch
I'm
them.
doing.
A lot of them are hot garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But you know, it's fun to have these like shitty things we talk about. I'm glad Game of Thrones exists, even if it fucking sucked, because it was fun to talk about for a little while. You know?
It was good for a good while. It was good for longer than it was bad, and I think. I think
I'd say it was just teetering on that edge there. But
I think that the Battle of the Bastards was probably the best battle I've ever seen in an episode for any shows like that.
It was pretty
but
damn good.
Yeah, that one was very satisfying. And you know, some of the more monumental episodes like the Red Wedding and the Mountain versus
they
the Viper
definitely
was
have
another
cemented themselves as like worthy of you know, their place in history. I think it's just gonna take some time to get past like the bad taste that was left in everybody's mouths from the way they ended the whole thing.
Sure.
And they're fully admitting to having no idea what they were doing the whole time and basically bluffing their way into a job at HBO to make this show. Which in its own way is a little bit, it's like, okay, like that's how you make white privilege work for you. You know what I mean? Like I gotta respect the artistry in that. Cause like, oh man, there's a lot of people that got it, but like, can you fucking con a whole like studio into building a franchise that ends up being huge and you have no idea what you're doing, but you built it off the writing of somebody else? Like,
yeah,
it's pretty masterful, you know?
mm-hmm.
In that, like,
I'll agree.
It does take a little bit of talent to like, you know, be Elvis, even though you stole everything about your act and your swagger and shit like that. You still have to pull it off, you know? I can still be impressed at that level. You know what I mean?
Nah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. You sound kind of funny.
What?
You were kind of sounding funny there for a second. Like it was robotic and shit. Like you were transforming into fucking R2 or something.
Oh, yeah. No, I was actually. Yeah. No, I actually I'm more comfortable doing these interviews in robot face. I paint everything silver.
So-
I kind of have this little modulation in my voice. Yeah, it's a thing. Luckily, these
So is
aren't
anything
video.
coming out? Anything coming out to look for though that you've seen? Because I
Oh,
definitely
man.
haven't been paying attention.
Fucking no. It's I mean, it's the dead period right now for all media. Basically, nobody makes anything new from like, you know, mid-December on through right around now. Things start to come back. So I've just been like, we've been watching old shit, just catching up on stuff. Been watching a ton of.
Why is that?
Because I know everybody's just consumed with the holidays and things like that. Their minds aren't here. If they were to, if you came out with a movie on, you know, December 31st, who the fuck's gonna go see that on that day?
Right.
You know. So they kind
Sure.
of wait. They know that's why the summer, you know, when kids are out of school and stuff like that, that's when all the biggest, you know, blockbuster movies come out and shit. And I think a lot of like, you know, the good TV tends to be, you know, during fall and stuff like that. So yeah, everybody's got their schedules and things like that. But right now is always famously kind of dead. So we've
Got
been
it.
going through, realize that the Adult Swim app doesn't need any kind of login to like watch everything. So we just been like watching random shit and finding some
Oh yeah,
fucking
it's
great
always
things
been
on
like
there.
that.
Yeah.
Of course. Except it does kind of like it's a really shittily run platform. It doesn't like I don't know. Does it freeze a lot for you or like just stop in the middle
Oh,
of the
yeah.
episodes?
All the time.
Or also, it's like the volume you have to turn. I have to like turn Alexa up when the actual show is on, and then it'll just like scare the shit out of me because as soon as it goes to commercial, it's like
Oh, it blasted up 30
way
decibels. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like wow. You're like whoa, calm down. But I do like the little like things that they say, like if it does, like oops, something fucked up on our end. Like
Yeah.
well, it'll be fixed soon, or maybe not. Whatever, maybe try back. Like it's like what?
Yeah.
like, but yeah, they have everything. They've got a lot of great shit on there. Have you started watching Primal yet? The one that I recommended before.
Fucking dude. Okay, it's on. I talked about watching it the other day, and I did not get to it yet. And then as I was looking here, I have it written down still from the last couple times. Primal, Adult Swim. I'm like, oh fuck, he's gonna ask about this now because I'm about to talk about all this shit. Yeah, no, I have not seen it yet. Sorry.
It's all good. It's not comedic. It's just something that I think you guys might appreciate watching together, you and Bree, while you're just hanging out. It's in between, like, and it's like Land Before Time meets Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that's
and-
kind of our shit. We're just liking weird shit, you know?
Right.
Yeah, we're watching a lot of old Space Ghosts and stuff like that.
Space Ghost is cool.
As if there's new
think
Space
that,
Ghosts. No.
Right.
Fucking 12-ounce mouse fucking cracks me up. Space Dandy. That's the new one that we found that's like fucking great. You ever heard this shit?
Space Dandy?
Space Dandy.
No.
Oh man,
No.
it's so dumb. It's just like it's
There's
like this
so many shows on there I have not seen or heard of.
yeah. It's this it looks like it's like an anime kind of thing from like 2014 about this like he almost looks like a 50s 60s like greaser kind of dude, like with this like pompadour and shit like that, and he just goes around all being all fabulous in space and fucking trying to pick up chicks and hunt aliens and shit like that, and it's
So he's like the Johnny Bravo of space?
yeah. Oh fuck, that's a great like yeah. It's Johnny Bravo in space.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
It's pretty great.
Space
I don't know. I'm
Dandy.
usually really high when we watch these, but yeah.
And then they have like all those like general hospitals and like random like
Oh, they just came out with a Netflix one. I saw that. I was happy for 'em. Medical Police. Did you catch that yet?
so is that an Adult Swim originally, or
It's a
is
spin-off
that
of Children's Hospital.
That's Children's Hospital, not General Hospital. Okay, that's what I was thinking of.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't even make the connection that that's what you said.
Totally. I know those actors, and I thought that when I saw the trailer for that yesterday, I was like, that kind of seems like that show on Adult Swim, but they made a movie of it, right? Wow.
No, it's
I'll have to check
it's
it
a
out.
series.
Oh,
It's
is
like
it
8 or
And
9
it's on
episodes or
Netflix.
something like that. Yeah, it's on Netflix. I was like, oh, that's
Okay.
cool. They're branching out. They're kind of like taking properties elsewhere to like get made.
Right on.
And it's still very much, it feels like it too. Just, it's incredibly dumb. And I enjoyed
Okay.
it. I kind of was like half watching like the first few episodes, and it was funny. But, you know, there's also other shit going on at the time. That's how I like to consume TV. That's how I think a lot of people do. Just very high and looking at your phone half the time. So it's like, did we really
That-
watch it? Not really, but, you know, it was good from what I saw.
Dude, too relatable.
Oh, yeah.
Eh,
We all
absolutely
fucking
too
do
rela-
it.
Too much. But yes,
I'm-
well, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm trying to be better about that. Trying to be at least recognizing it in the
Present.
moment when it's happened and just being present, being like, hey, you know what? Like whatever is going on, like if there's not a lull in what's going on the screen, like don't fucking pick up the phone. You know?
It's just hard, man. They've programmed us to
I
want to be on our
know.
phones
It's
all
crazy
the
we
time.
can know this and we still do it. Yeah. So I'm trying to be
Yes.
better. Resolutions,
Yes.
all that good stuff.
Awesome. I got away from the phone for a little bit over the weekend, which is really nice. I went up to on Sunday with David Appleby. We went up to Chantry Flats up in the San Gabriel Mountains.
Shanty
And
Flats?
his I was trying to say it all fucking fancy the way that like he said it, like Chantry Flats. I always said Chantry because it's Chantry, but he says it like Chantry Flats.
Oh, this sounds like a
he doesn't-
band that I can't stand.
Yeah, that like you can't tell whether they're country or emo.
Yeah.
But yeah,
They're kind of
something
somewhere in the
that-
middle, and they're the worst of all worlds.
Something that a lot of my friends would definitely be into though for some reason, and I would make fun of them for it. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's a popular spot. Hermit Falls, if you've ever gone, it's a very popular. I don't want to say cliff jumping because they're not like massive cliffs, but you know, jump from the rocks into the water out in like a little swimming pool out there.
Yeah, cliff
and-
jumping.
Yeah, but it's just like I don't know. It feels weird because to me a cliff is like big. These are like
Not like the
most-
Argentinian, like, 100-foot
no
drops where
no
they like
not
through
not
there.
even saying
Yeah, no.
that. Yeah, but yeah. So I guess you could say cliff jumping. Hermit Falls. It's a really popular spot, and then they have can never say this shit right. Sturtevant or Sturtevant.
You should have
Falls.
fucking
It's another-
practiced before you started the story, man, because it sounds like you are just fucking this up left and right. Chantry and Sturshefisherfriend?
It's dude. I swear the people that run Worcestershire fucking sauce actually.
by
It's
Ari
owned by
Erster.
the land is owned by the Worcestershire sauce people.
Oh, God. That's how they made their
no-
money. The Worcestershires.
Exactly. The Worcestershires, but it there's like that other waterfall on the other side, and in the middle, David Appleby's uncle has a fucking cabin. Like as you're hiking along the trail down there, you could just kind of like go up to his uncle's cabin and chill on his deck, and we were just jamming, playing guitar, and we had
That
brought
sounds
recording
great.
equipment. Yeah, it was dope. And we brought our recording equipment, and there was like this one pole just naturally sticking out of the ground. So we duct taped the microphones to it, and I was like, and it was like right at the edge,
Nature's boom.
where a hill. Yeah, right as the edge where a hill's rolling down, and going toward like this creek. And then on the other side of the creek, there's the trail going up toward the waterfall that all these people are walking through. And so, like, they're just walking by and, like, looking at me, like, as I'm jamming out with Appleby. I'm just like, thank you, Chantry Flats. Fucking, we're out of here. Good night. And then just like, what? Like, put it on a show to them. And some
That's
people
awesome,
dug it.
man.
Some people were like, what the fuck? But it was a great day to just get away with from the phone. I didn't use my phone. I think I tried to duct tape my phone to this like pole too and like take a video, but it didn't even I was nowhere in the fucking frame at all. So that was a fail, but yeah, didn't pay much mind to that and
Nature's
just kept jamming.
selfie-stick.
Exactly. And then came home and watched Hereditary and fucking scared the shit out of myself. So,
Well, that sounds like a lovely weekend. I'm kind of jealous. That sounds rad as shit, man.
yeah. And this weekend's going to be pretty awesome because guess where I'm going?
Where are you going?
To the NAMM show. Going to the NAMM show.
The
the-
Man
I-
Show?
Yes, Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla are
All right.
getting back together.
Starting it up.
We're getting the trampolines ready, ziggy zaggying the fuck out of the day.
Oh, man.
Girls on trampolines. Yeah, no, it's the NAMM show. It's the biggest musicians, merchants trade show in the world.
Oh,
It's-
yes. Okay, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, it used to be. It's like one of the funnest weekends in my area. It's actually right down the street at the Anaheim Convention Center.
Yeah.
It's where it goes down. Lots of cool stuff happens there. You can see lots of celebrities, although it's not generally open to the public. You have to be invited by some sort of organization or, work for
Yeah.
one of the, retailers or whatever.
It's
And
Music's E3.
yeah.
That's how it gets referred to a lot.
Okay. And I used to work at Joe's Crab Shack, which was a couple blocks down the road. And so it was always a big time for us each year when NAMM was going
Oh,
on
yeah,
because
poppin', I'm
you
sure.
get all the musicians pop in there and you get to see some every now and then, nobody that's like a major celebrity, but you'll see some, if you're, you'll see somebody from a band or a musician that you really are just like, oh my God, I can't believe that they're in here. And they're buying drinks from you and you're kicking it with them and, taking shots with them. And it's freaking cool.
What's your favorite
so-
story from that happening?
Oh, shoot. Let's see. Do you remember the band Static X?
Oh, yeah. The,
We saw
heavy metal
that guy.
band?
It wasn't really heavy. I guess
I don't
it
know
was
what to
heavy
call
metal.
them. Yeah.
They're like Static X. They were kind of like or was it? Yeah, it was Static X. It's the guy with the big hair. Whatever
Yeah,
the
big
guy.
ass hair. Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
I know
like-
the look. Yeah.
Okay, so I remember him the most. I'm trying to think of a story with somebody else from there though. That was shit. At the top of my head, I can't think of any of those stories. But I did have drinks and shots with the guy who played the guitar in the band Fuck. Oh shit. Dude, this is one of those brain fart moments. They were like a big Living Color.
This is one of those.
Living Color.
Might
right?
have hit that like joint just like one too many times.
Yeah, it's been all day, really. And it's been a piece. But so that guy, there was also a couple like jazz musicians. One of this guy's name's Abe. Fuck, dude. Yeah, maybe too many times for me to recall.
This
Anyways,
is going well. Oh,
this is
man.
going swimmingly. But hopefully this weekend it'll be much better when I go up to them and be like, "Oh, hey, it's yeah, fuck. Yeah, I'm not gonna remember their names, but I'll remember their faces. That's what I'm
just
good
come
for.
with the right energy, the right level of excitement. I'm sure they'll be pumped. They'll get the general idea of it, you know?
And to be honest, that has nothing to do with it. Nobody goes to go meet the celebrities. They're going because you get to fucking play with all the coolest equipment that is out there, like the best, the newest, state of the art, top of the line, everything. I'm talking like rooms, massive halls full of every fucking instrument you could think of. Like there's a whole floor and big ass hall just for like, brass instruments. And then there's another one for, like there's like a whole entire level to this convention center full of guitars from all of the, like a different room for each different major, merchant. So,
And it's not like Guitar Center where you go in and there's like a 50% chance there's some asshole who has no idea what he's doing behind the drums, just bleeding out like arrhythmic nonsense, right? Everybody there is industry, so they kind of know what they're doing. They're generally not picking it up without being able to hold any kind of rhythm or tune. So it's not like hearing a 7th grade class of recorders all going off at the same time.
Unless, of course, if you had little kids that usually rock out pretty fucking cool. But, yeah, everybody's there. And I think that for me, that was kind of more of the intimidating.
If you have kids and going to bring them there, make sure they're cool. If they suck, fucking just leave them at home. You know if your kid sucks.
Yeah,
you just know it. If they're a little fucking wiener and they want to fucking play with the oboes, you tell them no, okay? They're going to be cool people there, and I can't have you fucking harsh my mellow, little dude.
That's gonna probably
stand up
be
to
me,
your
to
kids.
be honest.
Stand up to your kids.
I'm probably
If there's
gonna be
one
the
lesson you
fucking.
take away from today. It's stand up to your kids.
I'm
fucking
gonna probably
terrorists.
I'm probably gonna be the wiener fucking up the oboe because that just sounds like a fun thing for me to go try.
Well,
I want to go try all these instruments that I never. I'm gonna try to find a fucking sitar.
You better
Somebody
go with
better
that
have
big
a
oboe
sitar.
energy, and just
Yeah.
really carry it. Something that like
Yeah.
a child could not really pull off. Now I trust you to oboe the fuck out of some oboes. I don't know what the verb is. What do you do with an oboe? Do you swing it? Yeah, I'm not totally sure. I'm not a musician, but I believe in your ability to fucking not make a fool of yourself, like fucking
Right.
Timmy.
Fucking Timmy,
Oh, God
idiot.
damn it, Timmy.
Fucking Timmy. I bought my last drum set there, the electronic drum set that's been sitting in your garage until this Saturday for the past 3
Hey.
years. Yeah,
I feel like we both deserve a round of applause for like accomplishing a very small errand that we've been like putting off for like the better part of a year.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's these little
Give
victories. You
yourselves a
gotta
pat
take
on
them
the
where you
back.
can. Yeah. Like
So
when you
now I
fucking
gotta
clean your room and you're just like, damn, I did good today. I can smoke weed and fuck off for the rest of the day.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I'm gonna do as soon as we're done with this. And that's what I've been doing this whole time.
Motherfucker,
actually.
like you haven't been doing that the whole time.
Yeah, that's that. If
I'm glad you
you've
caught
noticed. Totally.
Oh man.
So that's my weekend. I'm excited not only because do I get to do that, but it's like a big part. It's like all of my festival friends or like my music industry friends that I party with and go to events with are also going to be there now because we got our tickets through our friend Cody, who is just like, yo, on Facebook, who wants a pass? Let me know to comment with your email address and your full name as it is on your ID right now. And then like we all got, I like just gave it to him, not really thinking I was going to get it, but I just got this email and it's like, you're going to the NAMM show. I was like,
Oh, that's fucking dope.
dope.
Does it?
Yeah. So
Does it cost money?
You know, in the past, you couldn't buy tickets. The general public wasn't able to
But
buy
usually,
tickets. You had to
like,
be invited.
yeah, usually though the people who are there and get tickets, like they have to pay for it, and it's not cheap.
Yeah, and
I'm basing this off of
I
E3. I don't know how NAM works, but it sounds like Cody hooked you guys up with the corporate account, man, and I respect that.
absolutely did,
Yeah.
absolutely did, and so shout out to Cody for that. Thank you
Cody's
very
got a
much.
secure job.
So we're gonna be fucking around, and they're gonna be messing with all the DJ stuff that they know about, because that stuff is like, might as well be, trying to like be a mechanic for a spaceship. I don't know how to operate it. It's all weird. It's all like, what the fuck does this button do? There's just too many options. I'm a very simple person. You give me 6 strings on a thing, and give me
Keep
about
it simple,
20
man.
years.
Oboe or go home.
Yeah,
As
6
you always
strings
say. Yeah.
Give me 6 strings in 20 years, and I'll learn how to play something. That's what that's where I'm at right now. I'm
6
I'm
strings,
right at the
$10,
point.
20 years. I will fucking have that shit down pat.
Yeah, I got
Try
a
me.
little rhythm go. Got a little bit of rhythm going.
Oh
so,
man, I love that.
Yeah. What about you? What's going on this weekend,
Oh
Phil?
man, well this weekend actually is the 3rd annual Orange County Women's March going on in Santa Ana. And so I've actually been working with my local little advocacy group, organizing we bus people from the Huntington Beach Library on down to there, show up in huge numbers, especially right now, because this is the year where we really have got to put the work in. That like everything rides on 2020. I've talked about it before. I've talked about it on this show fucking endlessly, and I will not stop talking about it until we get the motherfucker out of office. But hey, if people want to come out and beat the pavement, want to come as a show of force, you want to do your first tangible thing for the year, please join us with the Huddle, the HB Huddle. You can look us up on Facebook, and you can find information for this Saturday's Women's March thing. I think we're collecting a little bit of money, like $20 for the ticket, but it's nice because you all get in a bus, you're with everybody brings signs and shit like that. I'm gonna be out there filming a lot of it, and yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's good to be surrounded by that energy, especially if the news gets you down. I know it happens to some people more than others, especially those of us who mainline it, like myself. But it's impossible to avoid, and it's impossible to not get sad and not get scared looking at, there's a whole continent on fire, and there's all this, about to, Iran's enriching uranium again. We've got a debate going on tonight. Like, everything is just coming at us so fast. This year has not fucking let up for a minute. We made it all the way to January 2nd before shit just hit the fan at Mach 10. So, yeah, that's what I got going on this weekend. That's also what I would encourage everybody else to come join us. Come check it out. I'll throw a link to it in the description for the episode as well.
Right on, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. So, speaking of which, though, with the fires, was there any more? Have you been following that, or what's going on over there? In Australia?
The fires are, they're fucking massive, and they're going to go on for months more. I know there was, last week there's a little bit of good news that they got some rain, so that was helping in some areas. But, these fires are, we can't even fathom the scope of this. I have some stuff actually set aside just in case anybody is really trying to get the picture here that doesn't quite understand how fucking bad this whole situation is. Losing 1 billion animals by most accounts now. So here's some things that I pulled from some articles before last week. So some of this information is a little dated. But let's see. For people not from okay, so more Aussie land is currently burning than exists in the entire country of Belgium. That's a fun fact. The smoke is causing breathing problems in New Zealand, 2,000 kilometers away. 500 million animals have been killed. That number, I think, has gone up. And 8 people are dead. Pretty sure that number has gone up a lot, too. 1/7 of the state of Victoria is on fire. The fire front in the state of New South Wales is so long that if you made a straight line, it would stretch from Sydney to Afghanistan. The fires are being fought by volunteers. The Australian government, they have their own kind of Trump thing going on there, and the fucking, it's been disastrous. Um, Oh, here's another fun one. While the country faced catastrophic fire warnings, and so people weren't allowed to have barbecues, the cities all had fireworks displays. And one in Adelaide that, very unsurprisingly, caused another brush fire. Millions were spent on these, but not to pay the volunteer firefighters. And it is true that Australia has brush fires nearly every year, but the sheer scale of this event is unprecedented, as well as the fact that the fire season is now so long that typical preventative initiatives, such as backburning, are way too dangerous. And the devastation in Australia right now far exceeds the Amazon fires or the California fires by many orders of magnitude. And there is no expectation that it will recede for at least several more months. In parts of Sydney, breathing the air is equivalent to a pack of cigarettes. Public buildings have been forced to close in Sydney, in the capital, Canberra, because the smoke is concentrating in the ventilation systems and is setting off building fire systems. The average temperature across the entire country has been above 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Australia is roughly the size of the contiguous United States, so imagine if being that temperature on average anywhere in the country. Like, it's crazy. And that fire front, imagine an unbroken line of fire stretching from New York to LA, then back to New York, then heading back to LA, and getting at least as far as Indiana. That's the fire front in just one state. So,
Wow.
yeah, shit is pretty fucking gnarly over there, man.
Well, so
And
I read somewhere that there was also like 80 arsonists that they had picked up and arrested for that. Has there been any further talk or investigation on that?
well, I mean,
Because I
okay,
know that the general idea was that it was like global warming that started it, but then there started to pop up all of these arsonists, and it kind of raised. There was this whole other crazy article shit that I was reading about all this. Like, it was definitely some conspiracy theory sounding stuff, but I was just curious to know if there was anything that actually transpired from, or actually like found out more about the arsonists.
well, the Australian government, like, they're so in the fucking, okay, how do I describe this? All right, because I don't have this directly in front of me, so I'm not reading off anything, but it's they've got their own kind of Trump thing going on there. This giant, almost global phenomenon of far right figures rising to prominence, and especially over there in Australia, which is where the Murdochs are from, and News Corp, aka Fox News, has gigantic footholds over there. So climate denialism is a big thing. It's a fucking pastime over there, right? And they refused to refer to climate change in any of their coverage or refer to it in their response. And then they got all gung ho about arsonists. And it was largely a transparent attempt to deflect from the topic of climate change, because their prime minister is a fucking doddering buffoon who's like been golfing and going on vacation and shit like that, in the middle of all this stuff, and just doing and saying the absolute most insensitive stuff you can. Let's see. Oh, okay. His quip. I knew I had this one queued up, ready to go. After learning that 2 people had been killed, the Australian Prime Minister quipped, well, it was okay because they probably voted Green, which was their opposite party there. Yeah, no. So in large part, and I've seen a lot of conservative media kind of seize on the whole narrative of this being arsonists and things like that, as if that really fundamentally changes the fact that climate change is what set the stage for all of this. Arsonists can set
Right.
fires, sure, but the stage was ready for there to be gigantic brush fires. I mean,
Right.
fuck, I wouldn't put it past them to, like, not if they had any kind of evidence, some kind of, even if it was flimsy, to make this up. But hey, I'm just conjecturing. That's not based on anything. The point is, arsonists or not, this was the effect of climate change. it's not like if there hadn't been any, assuming that there even was arsonists, if there hadn't been any arsonists, that this wouldn't have happened. It's very well, like, the stage is prime for that. I mean, shit. They said they set off a fucking fireworks display that set a bunch of stuff on fire too. So it's like, yeah, the whole arson line of this to
Conspiracy
me
theory
has
thing.
been not so much a conspiracy theories, but a distraction, a massive
Well,
kind
there
of
was definitely a
sleight of hand
lot
thing.
of stuff there was a lot. So my buddy posted this thing that about because he was questioning it and saying that there was this article before they even found any arsonist that obviously prior to supposedly them finding arsonists would have come off to anybody as this just crazy conspiracy theory because they were showing like the actual map of where the fires were and how there's like this whole scheme that's going on over there, like this what like basically trying to say that it's a new world order agenda of trying to like there were some pretty crazy things in there, and it was a .com website, so I wasn't like taking it too too seriously, but there were a lot of external links. And the thing is, it's just like a lot of the stuff that goes on over here where it's just these fucking people that can create and make up stories, and they take the time to like make these things up and put them into these articles to make them seem legit and get people to believe them. And
No,
in all of this,
it's literally the
in
same media apparatus. Fucking
Yeah.
Fox News started in Australia. You know?
Yeah.
The genesis of it anyway. Like that doesn't surprise me. You know?
Yeah.
I think we're all kind of collectively learning, getting more savvy with how we take in information. And I think at least I don't know how we really fix this problem, but I do see people, for the most part, I think wising up. I think anybody who I identify as a competent person who I don't know exactly how to define it, but most people I know or I think are savvy enough to look at freedomeagle.nz and look at its claims and say, okay, seems kind of like a lot of crazy horse shit. You know, I think
Right.
people are naturally more skeptical than that, and I think there's a lot of people, of course, that want to believe what they want to believe, and there's ultimately not a whole lot you can do for those people. But yeah, no, it is really crazy, kind of just to watch all of these things in motion. I mean, hell, just looking at the way social media gets manipulated by robots and stuff like that too. I mean, looking at the way certain things trend, or the way people are attempting to pull levers and influence conversations at scale with all this stuff. I mean, it's a lot to pay attention to, man. It's a lot to kind of sift through, and ultimately, I don't know, we all just got to kind of hone that bullshit detector. We've got to keep our own sensibility sharp to identify the chaff, the fucking bullshit that is the Australian brushfire was a New World Order conspiracy, and not, oh, hey, this is climate change in action affecting us now in 2019, and we need to do gigantic things to avoid. I mean, it can always get worse. That's the thing, This is very much our present, and this will be our future. Looking like Australia, I'm sure in our lifetimes we'll probably see California probably fucking basically burn down. But it can get worse, and yeah, that doesn't mean like, oh man. See, as we're kind of wrapping up here, I wish I fucking had it in front of me. But I was watching something or listening to something earlier this week that was talking about the latest climate reports and saying that, like, actually it's looking like there's man, I think the bad news of the headline was that, like, there's nothing that we can do to avoid like another 1.5 degrees of warming or something like that. But it was that, like, basically we've done so much in the last 20 years, it actually paints a more hopeful picture for what real effort now towards decarbonization could actually accomplish. Like, it could put us in a better spot than we had thought before. And that's what's tough. You know, it's all imprecise, and there's things that do come up that we weren't expecting. But shit, it was enough to kind of give me a little bit of hope this week. I'm just knowing that 2020 is going to be the year where we're all going to have to work our asses off to, I mean, make our cities, make our country, make the world just a little bit more habitable to live in before we fucking lose it all. So, yeah, I don't know. Get out there, fight. Come join me at the Women's March this weekend. All right, let's do something.
Right on. Well, yeah, so let's wrap it up here. Go ahead. We already hear what we got going on. We have Art in the Park coming up on the 26th this month. It's going to be the last Sunday of this month instead of the 3rd as it usually is. So come check it out. It's 2020 Vision. Pretty simple, basic, you know, just come out and hang out and let's dance and enjoy the first Art in the Park of the decade.
Fuck yeah.
Other than that, you know, you could always find me at Hood Rat Stuff with 3 F's, and Psychedelic Lions Den, Let It Bleed Cast at Instagram, and fucking like us on Spotify, like us, share us, and I'm just gonna let Phil take it from here 'cause he always does it better.
You're getting better. You're getting better. Yes, Facebook, Twitter,
Getting better every
Instagram,
time.
at Let It Bleed Cast on all social media. You can find us there. Then you can find me at Nobody Cares Phil on Instagram and at Phil Nobody Cares on Twitter, where if you want to, you know, watch me get angry in real time at the way that CNN fucking conducts these debates and how every question is designed in a way to shit on Bernie. If you want to watch me losing my shit, probably at the next one, yeah, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. You get fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. I hate that shit. Well, anyways, yeah, don't let that fucking all that nonsense try to coerce you from the fact that Bernie's the man. And if you disagree, then just try to be open-minded and look what the guy has done. He's fucking gangster and he does have a chance, and let's beat that fucking guy.
I mean,
thing,
shit, man. Right now, Bernie Sanders is the front runner. I'm getting very excited at the possibility of a fucking, you know, getting to go around, and probably it'll be our job to talk to a lot of people and say, hey, here's all this crazy shit that you have heard about this guy. Here's what he really thinks. Here's why he would be the best president for you and your family.
Yeah, it's very important because a lot of people are definitely very, very highly misinformed at both ends of the spectrum about Bernie Sanders as well. So, yeah, I'm excited and really happy for where he's at, and got some good hope. So anyways, thank you all for tuning in. As always, listening to us ramble and talk, not even drunkenly anymore. Maybe I should drink a little bit again so that I could, you know, actually fucking know what I'm going to be saying. But thank you. We love you. As always, let it bleed.